Shane Simmons, the Appalachian Project, back on the road again, and what you're seeing in the distance is the Bluestone Dam in Hinton, West Virginia, which is where I'm making a little trip today, heading to see the little Bristol city in Summers County, West Virginia. I'm pretty excited about this because this is the first time I've ever set foot in this town, to the best of my knowledge. I drove through a little bit earlier and it's super nice, got a lot going on. You'll see here in just a minute. I think you'll be impressed with this one. Hinton has a population of 2,676 as of the 2010 census. That probably seems about right once you drive through here. Its town motto is "Where friends and rivers meet." It's at the confluence of the New River and the Greenbrier River. They meet here. There's actually, that's where the Bluestone Dam comes into it. It forms the Bluestone Lake. And it's a very beautiful area up here. Just gorgeous. Now imagine it gets a lot of tourism just for the lake and the dam. It looks like a lot of good fishing and that type of thing. Boating. I'm not sure what this Bluestone Museum once was. Looks like it's out of business these days. It's just a little shade out of pipe stem, probably maybe a little bit less than 15 miles, I believe, along Route 20. Coming my way, that is. Sweet Rose Motel. Looks like it says they have vacancy. I guess you bring your own tent. So we're heading in the historic district here in a minute, but I just wanted to show you the drive in. It's just a gorgeous drive. You often see Hinton on a lot of these lists of best towns in West Virginia, and I'm a believer after driving through today. They got a lot going on. A lot of different components, especially to be such a small town. We'll be hitting that historic district here shortly. So you drive across the Hinton New River Bridge, one into town. You notice they still have a lot of their older structures. The town was established in 1873. And it has a history in the railroad, the C&O, which is Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad. And even to this day, it is an Amtrak destination. Take a right and go by the visitor center. Start off this direction. I was interested to see that part of the film Lassie, the 1994 film, was shot in Hinton, which is pretty cool considering I'm from Tazewell County, and a portion of it was shot there at the Cove, just outside my hometown, Richlands. Really like that mural, celebrating that railroad history. Really like these roads too. down through here. Very pretty residential section, as you can see. A lot of older historic homes, but they're super well maintained. Which shows that this town's still got a lot going on. A lot of people still stick around and keep these places up, which is great. You don't see that very often in a lot of these older towns. This gives you a really good idea of what a lot of them look like before they went downhill, especially with these homes up on the hill. That's the very type that go first to go. You see a lot of those run down in places like Bluefield. It's the first place that came to mind. Not picking on Bluefield. More interesting things I've discovered about Hinton was, not sure what's going on up here. It was home of the church and school of Wicca, a guy by the name of Gavin Frost, who was originally from England, and his wife Yvonne set up camp here in Hinton, and actually somehow managed to get their church all the privileges of being a church. It was challenged in court, but somehow they came out, and so they are tax exempt and that type of thing. Gavin passed away a couple of years ago, I guess. Yvonne's still alive. If you're not familiar with Wicca, it's a pagan witchcraft type of religion. So, I mean, you wouldn't think at all that would fit in here in Hinton, but what I know. It's a card-carrying, God-fearing Christian. It's not really my style, but I guess to each his own. And the city lies right along the New River, which creates a great backdrop. Check myself. Actually, this seems actually bigger than 2,600 people, that's for sure. So if you're going down this way, as you can see from the sign, it ends up back at I-64. Down through the historic district of Hinton right now. We're by the police station. In contrast to the Wiccan, there's the "Have you forgotten God? He has not forgotten you" sign. So again, this is quite the religious area, generally speaking. That's why I was so fascinated hearing that story about the Wiccans. And in fact, the Frosts were controversial even within that religion. At one point, they wrote a book that seemed to advocate pedophilia, so that was not well received, clearly, by anyone. Now, they backtracked later on, but once you read something like that, I imagine that sticks with you. So they were somewhat controversial within their own religion. One of the neater things too, the water park for children, which I think is just fantastic for a town this size. Got a water slide and a few things. I mean, it's not going to compete with Dollywood Splash Country, but for a small town, it is. I would love to have had something like this when I was younger. if you're not seeing very well, don't take heart. I'm not either. That sun is right smack in my face, so I'll try to get us turned around up here somewhere. Just hang in there with me. Hopefully somebody's familiar with Hinton. This is going back a ways, and I may be off a little bit on this. I don't know. My dad used to go with his father to boxing up in Beckley. They used to have fights up there all the time, and our whole family's huge fight fans. And anyway, well, there's Hinton Hardwoods. Anyway, he used to go up there, and he always talked about a guy who I think was from Hinton. I'm pretty sure I remember that correctly, but forgive me if I'm wrong. It was a boxer by the name of Mickey Udi back in the 1970s. And he supposedly knocked out some big prospect up in Beckley. So Dad always talked about that for years, and for some reason it always stuck in my mind. It seemed like a lot of times we'd make trips to Beckley together, and he'd mention that story. So if anybody knows anything about Mickey Udi, I'd love to hear about it, because from the story that Dad told, he was a real hard-punching boxer. There's the African American Heritage Audio Tour too. See, little things like that are so cool. But Udi was a boxer, a very hard-punching boxer, and apparently he got murdered in a bar here somewhere. Don't remember the details of any of that, but we'll take a sweep down through the main drag here. I can still hear my dad now. It just echoed in my mind when I was driving. West Virginia's own KO artist, Mickey Udi. Alright, I'll let it go after that, but it's just funny that the things that you remember from your childhood. Make another sweep through town just to see just as much as we can. It looks like they're working on the visitor center. Left, the Ritz Theater. That's a pretty neat looking old building. So as you can see, quite a few old building still in good shape. Cut down through here because I don't think I've made a pass to this yet. Along the cobblestone streets here. All right. That'd be a good thing to just get out of the car and give you a shot at the Summers County Courthouse too. It was built in 1875, and that thing is really nice structure. A shot of this is kind of a neat place too. See the old sewing machines. fun to just get out and experience these towns a little bit too. Hinton was named for its founder, a fellow named John Jack Hinton. First permanent settlements were those of James Graham at Lowell and Robert Lilly on Little Bluestone. Jack Hinton actually owned the land the town was built on, which is why it was named after him. And as you can see ahead, there's a monument up there, a statue for Confederate soldiers, which you don't see very often in West Virginia. Not too far to town is the legend of John Henry, steel driving man. So a lot of history, a lot of good reasons to come out here and check this place out. Give you a little bit of a closer view of the Confederate soldier monument. And then I'll take it on the road. From the Summers County Courthouse. Take one more pass through town here. There's a neat little bridge that you can see. Hopefully. Coming up there in the background. Unfortunately, it's closed to traffic and pedestrians, but really cool little thing. I'd love to make a walking trail or something up through here and include that as part of it. It would be great. So it's just a really cool structure. And there in the distance you can see the Summers County Courthouse again. And up here on the right, drop by that one last time and see that light. Take another little look at the mural that's painted up here. Celebrate the railroad history, and there's the Ritz Theater again. This looks like a good place to wrap up the video.